Here we are once again back in Photoshop. We're going to be continuing on with photo restoration, and we have two more little videos we're going to watch here when it comes to basic photo restoration. One is going to be on basic red eye and reducing noise, which is this one here. It's going to be very short and sweet. And then you're going to have one more video file that you're going to be opening up, which is going to be specific photo restoration techniques and tips for portrait photography. So let's go ahead and get started. Follow along the trail to find the photos. We're going to be opening up the red eye end, holding down the control key, red eye start. All right, so if we look at these together, number one, we can tell we're going to review quickly how to fix your exposure, your lightness and darkness. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Also, want you to see here that you can see we're going to fix the red eye, and then we're going to also fix something called the noise, which is the speckling that sometimes happens when you have a not perfect lighting source. Okay, so let's go ahead and close the end file. On the start file, let's save this. Follow me along. Remember, you're going to your folder, your computer graphics folder, lessons, and I want you to call it red eye. All right. Before we begin fixing the red eye and the noise, I want you to make color or lighting corrections as a review from the last unit. I'm going to do it my way. You do it your way. Pause the video and do that now. All right, how many of you chose exposure? If you did, kudos to you, but however, you could have used levels, you could have used auto tone, you could have even used the brightness and contrast. All right, zoom in on her eyes here. Red eye is super easy to fix. Trick is you just got to get zoomed in on the eyes. Your red eye tool is going to be in your drawer with the spot healing brush tool. And all it takes is a simple click, come into the eye, take the crosshair to where the red is, and click. Just that simple. Okay, stop the video and do that now. All right, hopefully you wrote down in your notes what this tool looks like and where it's at, possibly even the keyboard shortcut. Let's go ahead and save this before we move on. All right, so now we're going to fix the noise. There's three finishing filters that you'll always apply on your images. One is the sharpen, which is if your image is slightly blurry, you would want to do the unsharp mask like we did with the tulips. Or you might do reduce noise, which is this one, which is the speckling. And let me show you what I mean by speckling. So if you look at her face here, see how it's a variety of different colors? So like in here where the shadow is, there's actually some blue speckles. If I zoom in really tight, you can kind of see them in here. They're not your standard color. They're not all even. So you wouldn't want to do sharpen, because I'm going to show you what happens if I use the unsharp mask filter. It's actually going to make it worse. Whoa, horrible, right? So we wouldn't want to sharpen this. Instead, what we want to do is we want to take out the noise. It's still a filter. So we go to filter, noise, reduce noise. What it's kind of doing is it's doing a subtle blur. Move this to the side. Make sure preview is checked so you can see it in the image. Remember, you can turn this on and off. And it's real subtle. If you look closer, let's look right here, kind of in between her two brows. Look closely and watch the colors change there. So this is before This is after. See how it just removes some of the weird random colored pixels that are in there? It's evening out the color tones. So you can use your dials again, but if you go way over to the right or to the left, it may over blur it. It does note that it takes a while for this to apply. But you just want to monkey with it till you feel comfortable with it. Again, I'm just going to check on and off. So before and after. Let me get rid of my preserve detail. Yep, I think that looks pretty good, and I'm going to click OK. Now, it's not going to make it perfect. We're making it better. All right, and one last thing we're going to do, just because I want to touch up and review again. Let's go ahead and go back through those 8 steps if you want to, fixing any of the other color imbalances. If you want to use the clone stamp tool to clean up some of the area back here, go ahead and go for that. If you want to increase the saturation, or maybe you even want to increase some of the shadow work here. Whoa, that might have been a little too much. I'm just reviewing some of the tools. I just want you to play around a little bit more, get familiar. With photo restoration. So if you want to get your notes back out from the steps 1 through 8 and go through those, you can. Otherwise, this is it. Make sure your notes are up to date. You should have checked off the first 2 from your note sheet, red eye tool and reduce noise filter. Make sure you put those down in your notes. Save before you close. And that's it, peeps. I'll see you in the next one.